Shenzhen's older single women are reaching their breaking point, with some even offering to share the ownership of their apartments for a future husband. You heard? This isn't just something I made up.
Listen, I'm taking applicants, okay? I'm looking for a black American man to be my lover so that I can fly. All I have to pay for is the flight over there, and then I can stay with you. And then you can drive me around. That's the only. I'm not asking you to pay for anything else, okay?
The idea of being an independent woman has ruined me. All these years, I kept thinking that as a girl, I had to work hard, study hard, make money, and become independent. I told myself I would never spend a man's money. But now I'm almost 35. I don't have a husband. I don't have kids. I don't even have a partner. Other women my age live for their husbands, live for their children, live for their families. And me? I don't even know what I've been working so hard for every day. Who told me that women can only rely on themselves? I don't want to rely on myself anymore. I want to get married. I want to have a man I can depend on. I don't want to be an independent woman anymore. Women really don't need to be independent because in the end, independence gives you nothing but loneliness.
So if you go to Medellin, Colombia, you will walk down the streets and you will see girls on a scale of 1 to 10 physically. You will see 9s and 10s working at a taco shop or doing janitorial work on the side of the street with a very minimalist life. Very happy. Smile on their face, probably live at home with their parents, don't even have a car, don't have anything materialistic. Very approachable, very friendly, just very grateful to be alive and easy to date as a guy.
Only a quick search on your favorite search engine is needed to reveal the vast amount of resources made available specifically to women in America. Numerous government programs and private grants, small business development grants, education grants, healthcare, even some places offering universal payment to women. There are the Small Business Administration keeping track of more than $30 billion in federal contracting dollars awarded to women-owned small businesses. There are specific education grants. There are health and family planning grants. There's a Violence Against Women Act grant. There's general assistance like SNAP, WIC, Medicare, and housing assistance. And then you get into the private grants. I'm not going to be the guy who says that it's a bad idea for the government to help young ladies who are trying to start businesses, young ladies who are trying to get on their feet after dealing with a difficult, maybe a violent situation, young ladies who are trying to raise children and they need some economic assistance. I think that's part of the government's job. This video actually isn't even about that part of it. It's about the environment and the fact that in America, there are tons of resources available for young women that are aspirational and they want to go into the business world, and if they have a couple of hiccups, there's a safety net. There are some people that are looking to help women specifically. But what of the women that don't have that in other countries?
In Shenzhen now, it's completely where women are chasing men. Can you imagine? It's a 1 to 9 ratio, with 9 women standing behind every one man. Even if you're over 30 and divorced, as long as you're reliable, have a stable job, and want a peaceful life, you'll immediately become a hot commodity. But what about women? After 30, basically no one actively asks them out. That's how cruel reality is. Shenzhen's older single women are reaching their breaking point, with some even offering to share the ownership of their apartments for a future husband. You heard? This isn't just something I made up. Recently, we've seen a surge in Shenzhen girls signing up for matchmaking events. Many have explicitly stated that they don't want a bridal gift or a house car from the man.
It almost seems like AI to a certain point. I'm just struck by the sheer number of women that are there. Women that are looking for a man to complete their life. You're not seeing this strong, independent, I don't need no man after 30 here. What you're seeing are women that are looking for a man. And it's almost as if it's a kind of alternative world to what we're used to. Women after women, dating event after dating event, chock full of young, medium-aged Chinese women looking for a man to fill out their life ambition and goals.
She said, "Ma'am, are you single?"
I've been single.
What she said?
Are you single? I don't want no
Why?
Why? Because I can take care of my own. All a man is good for is
Amen.
That's it.
Amen.
And giving you a baby.
She a real ass. That's why.
That part.
She handle her business.
That part.
Grown women.
Grown woman.
Give him a chance.
Boy, don't tell me what to do, first of all. Take your microphone off somewhere.
Forget the fairy tale. America's teen girls are not buying the marriage dream. New Pew Research shows only 61% of 12th grade girls expect to marry somebody. That's a sharp drop from 83% in 1993. And for the first time, more boys than girls see marriage in their future, 74% of them. Experts say fewer fairy tale movies and a bigger emphasis on education, success, and independence are shifting what happily ever after means. The survey also shows a decline in expected parenthood, with only 48% of teens thinking they'll likely have children, down from 64% in 1993.
Would you recommend women go through whole phases before being married?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Everyone needs a whole phase. Not even just women. Men too. Get it out your system. Find yourself. Explore.
Again, the point of this video is not to rain down my judgment on the decisions that women are making in the West, or more specifically America these days. But if you look at the graph, boys 76% in 1993, boys 74% in 2023. The boys haven't changed. But 83% to 61%, that is a huge change. And that points to an environment that has drastically changed for women in America. And when you take a look at the overall number, you can see that because boys haven't changed that much, a drop from 80% of 12th graders wanting to get married to 67% shows exactly how much women changing their minds about marriage have changed the weight of the average. Many young ladies are simply saying, I'm going to go out into the world and get it on my own, and I don't need marriage to do it. It's not even in the cards. It's nothing these days to open social media and see a variety of young ladies celebrating the declining birth rate of America, but this is an environment that has a wave of subsidies for young ladies to live their lives without men. In effect, they can get government support in place of a man, and they can have a career, and they can travel the world, all in the richest country that has ever existed, in a society that has literally no expectations of women other than live your best life. When you look at the number of 12th graders that believe that they'll stay with the same person for the duration of their life, half of them say that it is not most likely. And then when you look at the number of them that want to have children, that number drops to under 50%. And it points to a very simple issue. Many young kids don't see a future with a family in it.
In the fast-paced city of Shenzhen, the marriage market is quietly changing. According to the latest data, the number of older unmarried women in Shenzhen has exceeded 1.79 million. So, why are more and more outstanding women unable to get married in a city full of opportunities? The older single women in Shenzhen generally possess high levels of education, high income, and high professional achievements.
So the question I can't help but ask myself is, why are these uber successful women in these cities that are booming, in a country that has a booming economy, still looking for a man? And why are they offering to pay and help subsidize a man because they want a man so badly? I think one, of course, is that is cultural, because, I mean, in America, I don't think there's much demand at all for people to continue families. You're hearing young ladies celebrate the fact that they're going to be the end of their bloodline. So I'm sure that that's very different from the pressure that you have in China, where you have great-grandparents and grandparents saying, where's our grandchild? But I think the other part of it is, I think that they understand that good times don't last forever. And the best way to survive is to be on a team, be part of a team, a part of a group of people that are looking out for each other, as opposed to America, where we feel like, number one, we could do everything by ourselves, but two, we think that times are going to be great forever.
Many women dedicate themselves fully to their careers, neglecting their romantic lives. Over time, they miss their prime dating years and find themselves in a too good for some, too bad for others situation. Shenzhen is gradually becoming the capital of leftover women. Older single women are devastated. Why are men so picky these days? A 36-year-old woman contacted me saying she recently started dating a boyfriend. During their first meeting, she told him she could cook and was quite good at it. The man immediately said, "You're too old." She then said she could drive and do housework, but the man still said she was too old. She said she would be very domestic and would do all the housework. The man said, "You're still too old." The woman immediately broke down, feeling very hurt. The blogger says that nowadays men would rather marry a woman in her 20s even if she only earns $420 a month, than marry a capable older single woman. Why has Shenzhen become the capital of leftover women? Because 90% of the women who come to the matchmaking market are over 30.
If I were to go to Asia, where would I go to find a great girlfriend?
I think you should just go to the rural area because they grow them cute and they are not polluted by capitalism because all the major cities like Beijing and Shanghai. How much money you have?
Really?
What car you drive?
Wow.
The nice Chinese girl in the rural area who grew up raising sheep and like cows and like feeding pigs and growing corns, they just have big hand and big feet to work. They don't even know they are pretty. And they would just feel very lucky to find a nice man who respect them and love them.
My initial reaction when seeing this graph was not necessarily that boys have stayed the same, because I think that's to be expected. I think that's expected in almost any country that you go to. But the young ladies have changed drastically. And it speaks to many of these young ladies being fed a kind of poison pill. Not that they've been told to hate men, although I think there's a healthy dose of that. Is this idea that feminism has got you. You can do whatever you want. And especially in an environment that has tons of subsidies and all kinds of things that support young ladies that don't get married, why wouldn't you? You can major in women's studies. You can have a whole face. You can do an OnlyFans. You'll be celebrated for covering your body in tattoos. But at the end of the day, when you're 40 years old, the young men in China are not afraid to say, you're not what I want. In America, we don't necessarily have as much freedom as men to say it that way, but men can just make the same argument by just withdrawing. And when you hear the Chinese young lady say, there are guys that just go to the countryside and look for a young lady who's looking for someone who's removed from the way that the city works and are just looking to be pulled out of poverty, why wouldn't a guy want that? To be honest with you, at this point in my life, my next serious relationship, I would rather a young lady that's never even been to the West. That is my preference at this point. I'd rather her not even speak English. I'd rather speak with her in my second or third language exclusively. If that gets me the opportunity to avoid her having a classmate that had an OnlyFans, or her having conversations about covering her body in tattoos, or even this idea that her body count is something that is private and that her husband should have nothing to do with it because it's something that's personal to her. I don't want to do that. And it's clear that guys in China are simply saying, if this is not what I want, I'll just say no thank you and move on. We don't really have the liberty to do that in America yet. As men just kind of back away and don't participate. But I think that time is coming, because many of these young ladies, I believe, have been told that men are evil, men are terrible, and let's celebrate the ending of all of this. And the guys that they were sitting next to in class are just saying, I want a woman that's nice to me and have a family and just settle down. And I'll wait as long as I need to wait, or go wherever I need to go to have that. Pretty simple, isn't it? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.